It's a wonderful evening for soccer in the USL Championship presented by SSM Health St. Anthony's. OKC Energy, winners of 4 of its last 6, taking on Sporting KC, winners of 2 of its last 3 here at Taft Stadium with former Manchester United keeper Gary Bailey. Michael Watring, happy to have you along for the ride here this evening as we take a look at the standings in the Central Division. A very tight race. OKC Energy with this big surge has put themselves into the playoff picture, but Sporting KC2 just 4 points behind that playoff spot.
Yeah, exactly, Michael. Imagine if Sporting Kansas City 2 do win. They'll be a point behind OKC. Besides that, OKC are looking over the shoulder at Indy 11, Atlanta United 2, and Memphis 901 with 3 games in hand. So extremely tight for those playoff positions. If
Sporting KC2 is going to make a push to the playoffs, they are going to lean heavily upon Enoch Mushagalusa, who has been in fine form this year.
Yeah, he pounces on that one so quickly against Memphis away. That was a really decent win for them. Look how quick he is just to hit that and hit it really hard, give the keeper no chance whatsoever. And then, Michael, this one is an absolute brilliant bit of skill. This is against Atlanta United 2. Have a look here. He beats 1, he beats 2, Nutmeg comes inside, toe pokes it past the keeper.
The 21-year-old from Congo is 12th in the league in goals scored. On the other side, Viljan Bijev is having a wonderful season. He is in great form on his side as well as he leads the team with 5 goals.
Yeah, here's one from Zach Ellis-Hayden, cross that he gets on the end of, and a decent and brave header as well. But as you say, scoring goals for fun, quick to respond, hovering around the edge of the box here, and able to shoot from distance.
He is our Loves player to watch this evening and one of the top goal scorers in the league as well. Should be a wonderful matchup between 2 clubs riding the ship in the middle of the season. OKC Energy FC, Sporting KC2. Coming up next, we have the kickoff.
Goals are something we outline for ourselves, and oftentimes they can be pretty lofty. When things begin to line up the way we think they should, we appreciate those who helped us along the way, like the help you get with commercial banking from FFB. Our experts are ready to partner with you to help you manage cash flow, oversee accounts through online banking, and help you secure a business line of credit. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
You deserve something sweet, like Brahms' new fancy sundaes. The sticky bun has the perfect hint of cinnamon, topped with smooth, hot caramel and pecans. There's the undeniably delicious cocoa banana ice cream covered in hot fudge and slices of banana. And who could resist 2 scoops of white chocolate strawberry tart filled with pound cake and more strawberries? Or French chocolate macaroon with marshmallow atop Brahms' freshly baked macaroon cookies. Try one or all 4 at Brahms because you deserve it.
I'd always wanted to get braces, always considered it, thought about it. You know, how long is this going to take? Am I too old to do this? What am I going to look like with braces on? With payment options and everything else, nothing's hindering me now. I just need to go ahead and do it. The staff, for one, is awesome. The doctor's great. I know I had friends growing up saying, oh, it hurts. I didn't have that experience. I can't wait to see my teeth without being masked by wires, right? Hindsight, I would have done it again 100 times over.
Welcome you back to Taft Stadium, getting set for kickoff. OKC Energy FC hosting Sporting KC2. Energy FC would like to thank SSM Health St. Anthony for being the official healthcare partner and Team Docs for the Energy FC. For 121 years, SSM Health St. Anthony has been ready to help and heal patients across OKC. As we take a look at the Sporting KC2 lineup, brought to you by First Fidelity Bank, a 3-5-2, 3-4-3 situation looking like that for Sporting KC2 tonight.
Yeah, Mushagalusa up front, always a danger there, and he's joined by a new player in Jamil Roberts up front. Looking forward to seeing how he plays alongside Roger Smith, who's such a good player. Roger Smith perhaps more on the right side, Roberts on the left. Three at the back, Kuich coming in there to that back line, and then across the middle, LaFleur comes in as well, as does Davis.
For OKC on the other side, just one change for their group is they're testing out this new formation that really performed well last week against Tulsa.
Yeah, Daniels coming in midfield, and BJ Chavez up front. Very powerful combination, three at the back, and in those bright colors, you can't miss them.
They are sporting those very, very bright colors today for this match as we take a look at our official Matthew Franz for this one. And we are ready to rock and roll here from Taft Stadium. Capacity of 6,600. We're underway on a great night in OKC with Gary Bailey, Michael Watrang. Happy to have you with us for tonight's ride. And this should be a very, very interesting game from the perspective of how well these two teams have played over their recent stretch here. Teams that have gotten hot earlier this season, it was a 1-1 draw for these two clubs on May 7th, and then on June 23rd, BJF had the game winner in stoppage time of the first half in a 1-0 OKC win over Kansas City.
Hey, you're right about the good form, and it's come at the perfect time for OKC. 3 wins and a draw in their last 5. That is really decent form and sees them in a playoff position for the first time in quite a while. They had a really bad start to the season, of course, and manager John Pasquarella getting sacked, interim head coach Lee Wiedman stepping in. So it really has been a new manager, a positive approach, a change in fortunes, and they're now in a playoff position. What they're going to do, of course, is hold on to that playoff position, which won't be that easy.
OKC winless in their first 8 matches this year, winless in 17 in a row dating back to last year, but that is really starting to become a distant memory as they've taken home points in 5 of their last 6. And trying to do so again here this evening. They only have 1 win here at home this year. That was their first win since 2019 at home. That came against this KC2 club on June 23rd.
That has also been a good run, as you mentioned, for Paulo Nagamura and his SKC2 team. And 2 wins in the last 3 is really good to see. They've needed it. It's been a really, really tough season, and you've given some of those great stats there as well. But they've got to keep it going. That 1-0 win against Atlanta United 2 is good. But if they can get a win here against OKC, that really makes their mark. Then people will sit up and go, oh, hang on a second. You know, there's a lot of good young players here. Are they good enough to cause OKC problems?
Roberts sends a ball in that Matt Constant nods over the top of the bar. As we take a look at tonight's OKC Volkswagen keys to the game here, Gary.
Yeah, for OKC, get the ball to BJ around the box. He's been absolutely stunning this season. He's hard to mark, he's quick, and Chavez will be looking for him the whole time. Knock the ball down to him and let him do his thing. And then for SKC to improved defensive transition. They've given away way too many. In fact, 4th highest number of goals conceded in the USL, which means in transition, when you're coming back from an attacking position, concentrate, get yourself well organized, make it difficult for OKC to get, you know, easy yardage against you.
KC2 has given up at least 2 goals 8 times in 14 matches, so they have been exploited a little bit in the back. Kendall McIntosh is the man in net tonight, does have a clean sheet and 17 saves. For a veteran that has 10 clean sheets in his USL championship career, including his time with the Portland organization for a few years.
I think you make a good point there about him being a veteran at 27 compared to those around him, because that's the thing about this Sporting Kansas City 2 side. It's a young side. It's a side that's developing some great players, and you know, congrats to Paulo Nagamura for doing that. But what they do have is an experienced goalkeeper just to keep things organized.
See how they handle their first true test of the night. It'll be Bijev to take this corner kick for OKC. This corner kick brought to you by Little Caesars. Bijev will hit this as they get numbers into the box. A team that typically scores late in matches trying to start early in this one. A back post pass goes over everybody and eventually trickles out for a goal kick. How about this, Gary? 10 of the team's 13 goals this year have been scored in the 60th minute or later. They only have 3 first-half goals all season long, so it's a team that typically gets stronger as the match goes on.
Which is not a bad thing on the one hand. On the other hand, if you're a coach, you're saying, well, can we not start off the way we're finishing? You know, come on, guys. Let's start off at 100%.
Great pass here to Mushagalusa, but his initial touch is slightly off. That was a very nice pass there from Roger Smith. Those two starting to develop a connection.
It was, and I just wonder if he could have hit it a bit harder, Roger, because Mushagalusa had to wait for it and wait, and when it eventually came, he was caught. If it's a little bit firmer, he's away. And one thing about Mushagalusa, you're not going to catch him once he's gone. There's Kuich giving the referee a yellow card. You don't often see that.
Jake, hold a little. Jake.
Mr. Matthew France must have just dropped it in the middle of the pitch there, and Kuich very pleasantly giving it back to him. I would have made a bit of a song and dance about it, would have just held it up like the way he holds it up to players.
Roberts will take this free kick opportunity as he punches one towards the back post. There's really nobody over there, but it does find the legs of Mushagalusa. This is where he can be so dangerous. We saw at the outset in a very similar position. He was able to slice and dice 2 defenders, but this time around concedes a goal kick. Take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by SSM Health St. Anthony's. And unfortunately for both of these sides, some very key players are out. Rob Coronado had successful surgery. He's out for probably a couple months before he returns. And Rapapa Mensah for Sporting KC2. So that means a lot of opportunities for some of these players stepping in for some of these injured players.
Yes, and sorry, unfortunately, having to retire completely from football. We wish him well. And Zach Ellis-Hayden, we thought might be available. He was on the bench last week. It's one of those strange situations where he seems to have got worse, not better. So I thought he might have had a chance to start this match. But with Rob Coronado not being available, they've sort of gone to 3 at the back. They felt without him, they wouldn't be able to feel the comfortable force. As you can see, they've got 3 at the back and 2 wing backs in, I presume, Jonathan Brown and Tucker Stevenson. We need to confirm that they will take those positions. So Lee Wiedmann happy that his team are able to go from 4 to 3 at the back and transition into that quite comfortably.
Yeah, he spoke about that earlier this week. The ability that they have to play multiple styles will certainly bode well for them as they try to wrap up this season on the same note that they're having right now in the midseason. Kuich providing a little bit of frustrating defensive effort there, just off of a simple toss.
And I guess if you are Lee Wiedmann, you're looking at SKC2, and with all due respect to them, they are bottom of the table. You look at them going, well, you know, we have to get 3 points. We're at home. We have beaten them. Yes, we've drawn, but we have beaten them. And the form we're in, we have to win this game.
Bijev getting into the box, circles it towards the top. It eventually comes down to a teammate. Daniels was the one that touched it, but couldn't get his touch right, and KC2 will take over.
And Bijev once again looking so sharp on the edge of the box, and his cross doesn't find anyone, but you get the sense that and then we did mention this as the keys to the game, if he gets on the ball a lot, he's going to cause SKC2 some problems.
Here's Roger Smith cycling a ball all the way over to the far side, now popped into the air and plucked down by CJ Cochran. 4 clean sheets on the season, top 5 in the league in the category. One of those clean sheets coming in a 1-0 victory on June 23rd here against SKC2.
Yeah, he's a solid goalkeeper, top class. And in fact, the only match in which OKC have struggled was against Lou City, which, to be fair, I think most teams would. So their form in the last sort of 5 or 6 games has been really good. And I think at the back, CJ Cochran just gives them a lot of solidity.
9th minute of play, only 1 total shot so far. That coming from Kansas City. 2. Otherwise, not much happening early on. 3rd meeting of 4 this year between these 2 Central Division clubs. Stevenson.
It's okay, hey, it's okay.
Settles it backward.
Aiden made a great run to him.
Sporting Kansas City too really sagging back, and that is forcing OKC to switch fields now, and Bijev comes onto it. Very good touch. Sends it into the box. His intended target, Chavez, was making a run. Bijev thought he might go to the back post, and it sails out of play.
A lovely switch of play from the right there. I think that was Sam Rogers. Whips it across to Bijev. His first touch is good. Tries to get Chavez in at the near post, and as you quite rightly say, a little bit of a misunderstanding between the two of them. But again, they're threatening, aren't they? They're sort of posing questions. They're trying to get that sort of final ball to be a decent one, and it's a nice positive start from OKC. Maybe they'll go against the grain, Michael, and score early in the game.
That would be something different. They haven't scored a first half goal since that Bijev goal on June 23rd against Sporting Kansas City 2. Our last 5 have all come in the last 30 minutes of action. Bijev gets taken down. They're wanting a foul to be whistled, but OKC again holding much of the possession before Kurimoto sends it out of play. And boy, what a delightful goal he had last week that Lee Veidman talked about. Not only was it just a wonderful goal, but just what an uplifting moment for the team, with probably the last kick of the match potentially coming up right there after you had conceded near the end of regulation.
Yeah, he was talking about the character of his team, and I've got to agree with him, because when that equalizer went in, Frankie Lopez gave them an unbelievable lead in the 65th minute with a golazo, and then Da Costa straight from a free kick in the 90th minute. Now, most teams would either just try and hang on for a draw, or their heads might drop. Not this OKC team of Lee Veidman's. They came flying out, trying to get a winner. Bijev with a cross, and Kurimoto volleys this ball, doesn't try and bring it down, hits it on the volley. What a strike. What a goal. And then we asked him about the celebrations, because at the end, when the final whistle went, you thought they'd won the cup or whatever, and he just said that's what's happening with this team. They're fired up, they're pumped up, they want to win games, and you know, credit again Lee Veidman. He really has turned things around at OKC Energy.
Well, it's so impressive, because last year they accumulated a total of 10 points in that shortened COVID year. They already have 17 this year, so a win tonight, they would double their output at basically the mid-season point. But you start the year winless in your first 8, a coaching change, and he said a lot of teams might have just wrapped it up and said, you know what, we'll check out. That's basically the end of the run. But this OKC Energy Club has totally changed the way that they've approached the game, and it's been awfully impressive. And you take a look at Paulo Nagamura and his Sporting KC 2 side, and always interesting with them. They always have a bunch of different players that cycle in and out from the MLS side down, or rather over here to the USL Championship. Tough to get that continuity, but we have 4 17-year-olds on the bench. So what they try to do with their program, get some of those young players a great opportunity in the USL Championship before testing them out in the MLS.
There's some wonderful talent, and they really are amazing, because they're up against players much older than themselves.
Flag stays down here. Body bumping inside of the box is Daniels, and McIntosh picks it up.
That's a great chance there for OKC. Got straight through there. Just wondering if that touch could have been a little bit better. Was that Aiden Daniels who got through? And he's through. I mean, he's got to at least get a shot on target. He seemed to slow down. Have a look. Slows down, puts his head up, and the opportunity's gone, and he knows it. He's thinking to himself, couldn't I have touched the ball forward and then headed in one move? Either way, opportunity lost.
And good hustle by the 18-year-old Isaiah LaFleur. Checking back to ensure that that wouldn't give Daniels any more time. Smith plays it to Mushagalusa. This is where he's so tactical as he comes onto the ball. Thought about taking a shot. Instead slides it back. Now a left-footed deep effort from Rod is deflected and goes out of play. And now Sporting KC2 getting a couple opportunities.
Wow, I'm just going back to that Aiden Daniels chance. You're right about Isaiah LaFleur. So quick to pounce on him, but nonetheless, when you're through and you've got a couple of yards on the defender, you should be able to at least get a shot on target. And Aiden Daniels fluffing his lines a little bit there.
Mushagalusa sends it back. Now a cross comes into the box. It's punched at by Cochran.
Yeah, we were just talking about Cochran a few minutes ago, what a good solid keeper he is. Comes there, realizes that if he catches it, he might get bumped over, so he punches it clear. Dominant goalkeeping.
29-year-old Alpharetta, Georgia native, played his college soccer at Georgia State. Mushagalusa trying to tame the ball, unable to do so. And Kurimoto gives it to Bijev. Bijev playing very deep, and Bijev likes to play all over the field. Even though he's very much an attacking option, you'll see him a lot down the wings and the defensive side. 15th minute, no score so far. Couple chances evaded early by both defensive sides.
Hey, stay narrow off. You've got the space to go and get it from me, okay?
There's been a few of these lulls within the game where SKC2 will sit back and the Energy FC will pick out their spot. Last time they had this, they had a wonderful switch that nearly set up a great moment.
You can see they're not pushing high at all, SKC. They're saying if you want the ball in your half, it's fine. Once you start coming in the halfway line, then we'll start putting pressure on you. And of course, that denies, with all those light blue shirts in their own half, it denies much space to play into. But that's the challenge they're setting, OKC, and saying, well, see if you can find the skill to break us down.
Slowly working forward. Good ball out wide by Kurimoto. And unable to keep it in play on the far sideline. It just took that really high hop. And a very difficult play to make on that sideline as it goes out for a SKC2 throw.
Quite a few OKC Energy shirts in the area, just trying to put the pressure on, not allow them to get out of that defensive area easily.
Bijev trying to turn with it. Sees two defenders approach him before he gets it out of there. Stevenson charging forward, and a good bit of defending to slice it out of play by Davis. But a throw for OKC Energy.
You can see the flags as well up high, how they're blowing. There's another nice example on your right-hand side. Makes it difficult for defenders to read the high ball.
Comes back to Stevenson. He swings it in. There's really nobody over there. Bijev was in the middle of the box. And it's cleared out towards midfield. 17th minute of a scoreless affair so far. They've been low-scoring matches, a 1-1 draw and a 1-0 OKC Energy win in the first two meetings this season. And both teams like to strike in the second half. I mentioned OKC Energy's second half prowess. Well, 13 of the 18 Sporting Kansas City goals this year have come in the second 45.
I think it's fairly normal for teams. It's you know, the first half is often a feeling out process. You know, probing in the second half, you start to really put the pressure on, and of course in throwing bodies forward, you leave gaps in your own defense. So that's when goals are scored at both ends.
And as you mentioned earlier, I think that both coaches would maybe like to see a little bit of a change in that. Maybe a first half goal to give a team a 1-0 lead going into the locker room.
I think especially Lee Vidman, he must be looking ahead at playoffs, even though he would never admit, no coach ever does, that you know, every mantra is one game at a time, we focus on now. And fair enough, that is true. But once in a while you look at the table and think, wow, imagine if we do make the playoffs, are we good enough to go and beat a loose City, or you know, one of the sort of really good teams, Tampa Bay, one of those. And so you want your team to be able to score not just in the second half, but in the first half, and to be able to be on the front foot. So obviously, as a coach, he's looking to get his team to go up and up in improvement levels. And against a struggling SKC team, he's going to want a really good performance from OKC Energy today.
Especially with a road trip to Louisville City FC coming up next on the schedule. This is an important game to make sure you come away with good points here at home before you take on the top team in the division. Jahanrod plays it forward. Really good hustle here to latch onto it for just a moment, LaFleur. But punches it out of play. 19th minute of action here at Taft Stadium. Excellent crowd. Energy FC would like to thank SSM Health St. Anthony for being the official healthcare partner, and Team Docs for the Energy FC. For 121 years, SSM Health St. Anthony has been ready to help and heal patients across OKC.
Okay, just allowing OKC all the ball they want in their own half. And now they start to tighten it down, and look at them hustling and making it so difficult for BJev.
Sees two defenders come to him, and it's taken off of his feet as it goes back to McIntosh. And the teams will trade headers before it settles down in the middle of the field. But when you're looking at how Sporting Kansas City 2 is playing, if you're OKC Energy, what's the strategy to try to break up this packed-in defense?
Very, very difficult to do, and you've got to be careful on the counter like now, because that's what SKC 2 are trying to do, is play into that open space, especially with Mushagalusa. So, you know, if you watch the Barcelonas of the world, they face this every week, where teams sit deep, even deeper than what SKC 2 are sitting.
BJev and it taken off of his feet.
And I guess the logic is, if you score one, you start to force the opposition to come out, and then gaps open. So that chance again, I go back to it for Aiden Daniels. You know, if the keeper makes the save, you go, okay, it happens. But to not even get a shot on target must have frustrated Aiden, getting his chance and trying to prove something to the manager. And but to your point, if there's one player on that OKC Energy side who can produce a little bit of magic, and it is BJev. And Lee Vidman chatting to us this week saying he's a dynamic player. He's very difficult to mark, and that's why we want him near the goal. He can just do something unexpected and get that breakthrough.
Playing him more in the central portion of the field, as you see him right there with that bright blonde hair. But Sporting Kansas City 2 looking to make a charge is Mushagalusa latching onto it. He gets inside of the box, trying to get to the right foot. Instead sends it over, and it's cleared away on a pass intended for Smith. So not out of trouble yet is OKC Energy. Those bright blue jerseys. Pass comes in, it takes a ricochet, and it's cleared out by Jonathan Brown for a deep throw. And Sporting KC2 taking a few chances here after packing it in defensively, and it leads to this opportunity.
And we were just talking about those counter-attacks into space. There was a classic example. And with Mushagalusa's pace and Roger Smith getting up alongside him, those counter-attacks are going to be a real threat for OKC.
Here comes the ball towards the back post. It's chested, looking for Cochran. Instead, it goes out for a corner. So not on the same page there, and they concede an opportunity here for SKC2.
Tucker Stevenson there thinking cleverly, but I think in CJ Cochran's mind it just was a ball to hook clear. It wasn't a ball to try and bring down. So a corner. Can they get punished for giving away a corner? Let's wait and see.
Little Caesars corner coming up. Jameel Roberts, a 23-year-old from England. Hits this one, going back post. It comes back into the middle. It's saved off of a shot attempt by Barbier. Cochran comes up with big hands. Now he climbs the ladder. He bobbles it, loses it, turns around, picks it up. Eventful moments there. Barbier had a great chance, but Cochran comes away and now settles the pace.
Interesting, there's a corner knocked in. It gets played back to Barbier, who hits it very quickly. Hasn't got much time to put power behind it, but it's right at Cochran, who makes a decent save. But again, you write off SKC2 at your peril. They are clever players, and they will create opportunity. Maybe not as many as OKC. And that's why, again, it's important. If OKC want to win this, they've got to get a first and a second and force SKC2 to come at them and leave gaps. Because all the time Mushagalusa's on the pitch and the likes of Roger Smith, they're going to be a constant threat.
Well, it certainly feels like, even though maybe the possession might be slanted in OKC Energy's favor, it feels as if in the attacking third, there's been significantly more chances for SKC2.
Yeah, it's different types of chances. It's those counter-attacks and breakaways into space, whereas for OKC, it's been numbers up and trying to get through that defense is another example of where they're unable to break through that light blue wall.
Controlling the possession. Sending it backwards. Barbier, who just had that chance, the 23-year-old out of Atlanta. Now OKC Energy starting to apply a little more pressure. They want the ball back. Long ball will be headed back to Cochran. Well, 3 shots in the match, all from SKC2.
Yep, they've had the shots, and yet the best chance I still think went to Aiden Daniels. When you're free and ahead of your defenders or your opposition defenders, then it really is a good opportunity. But you do make a good point that for all the possession that OKC have had, they really haven't threatened Kendall McIntosh too much.
Haven't quite linked up inside of the box. Errant pass intercepted. Rod plays forward. Both teams have played really well of late, so something has to give here this evening. And so far, as we enter the 26th minute, a 0-0 draw.
There's one player we haven't spoken much about for OKC, and that's Jaime Chavez up front. And I just wonder if 1 or 2 long balls to him, he chests them, brings him down, brings Bijev into it. They're playing everything on the ground through the midfield, OKC, which is fine, but every once in a while, just to use Chavez's ability to hold on to a pass and bring it down and bring others into play.
Roger Smith giving chase, applying the pressure and forcing it back out to the corner. Bijev turning with it. There's Chavez, and he draws the foul.
Ooh, Duke might go into the book for that.
Certainly, I think the Energy FC want a booking. That rescue yellow card, and there it is. That slipped out of the pocket earlier.
Yes. He's probably wishing it had been lost permanently as Christian Duke, but the difference here is he lunges. See there, it's one thing putting your toe in, you might get away with it, but he lunged, and it's dangerous, it's reckless, and the definition of a yellow is a reckless challenge. A careless challenge, you don't get a yellow. A reckless, you do. And then a reckless with excessive force, of course, is a red card. So it did fall into that category for me. And as a midfielder, Christian Duke should know better at 30 years of age. You don't go diving in these days. You've got to be a little bit lighter on the challenge.
Spent 2014 and 15 here in Oklahoma City. Bijev always draws so much attention. Davis takes it off of his foot. Leads to an opportunity for Mushagalusa. Very clever there. And now even more physicality. A few different whistles as possession will go to SKC2.
Conor Donovan holding on to the ball even when it wasn't his and sort of saying, well, I'll give it to you when I'm ready to give it to you. He's smiling about it now.
Donovan, a 25-year-old out of NC State.
It's interesting. I was wondering before the game when these two teams last met and it was a 1-0 win.
Chavez racing. He gets onto it. Chavez has it stymied by McIntosh. Comes up with a monster save.
Ooh, just shot
a whistling shot goes wide.
Good save from McIntosh. Chavez, at least he gets the shot in this time, but again, a little bit too easy to get behind the back four there. Barbier just can't put his foot up. Keeper makes a good save. Looking at Chavez, could he have finished it there? Oh, the ball hadn't settled for him, so it's a difficult one. But two situations where they've been through one-on-one against McIntosh, OKC Energy. They get nothing out of it, but Chavez in particular, we hadn't mentioned his name, and that's the sort of ball you want to put forward for him, through the middle. Give him a chance to run onto something.
Both of the chances have come right in that little area, right central of their attacking unit. The first opportunity didn't even yield a shot that time. You got the original shot on goal and then that whistling shot that sailed wide.
I was just about to mention a point before he got through Jaime Chavez, and that is when these two teams met and it was a win for OKC Energy by 1-0. I thought the stats would be very much in their favor, but they weren't. It was 4 shots to 3 on target for OKC. Both goalkeepers had 3 saves to make, and in fact passes in the opposition half was more for Sporting Kansas City too. So a very close game as far as the stats go, and that's how it's looking at the moment.
And Rogers is going to go in the book here. A yellow card for him, so now each team has picked up a yellow.
So look at it again. He's saying it's not a yellow card. How can it be? Yeah. Again, I didn't think that was reckless. I thought it was just an unlucky coming together. Maybe a tough yellow card for Sam Rogers to get. It's very different from the one the Duke got where he lunged in. That one there was just a falling over and just a flading left foot that didn't have too much power behind it, but the referee has decided otherwise. And once again, we've got to repeat, referees don't get the benefit of VAR. They've got to call it immediately they see it, and it means they've got to make a snap decision.
Set piece coming up. Davis sends it in, and it's promptly pushed out of the box. A little anticlimactic there. Bijev settling back defensively to clear it. Mushagalusa will tame it. Smith the intended target of that pass from Kuic. Now Mushagalusa turns and spikes it off of Kurimoto's feet for a throw.
There's a very civilized area behind the goals there with the deck chairs out and the tarpaulin cover. And
nice little setup.
Yeah, it is. Wonderful way to watch soccer.
Stevenson just clears the line back down the other way. 32nd minute of a scoreless affair so far. And we're going to get a hydration break here on a hot and humid night at Taft Stadium. Let's take a look at the Week 13 Team of the Week, and it was highlighted by Solomon Asante. A wonderful effort from him, but Hiroki Kurimoto had a goal and an assist. That game-winning goal. He's the highlighted player for OKC Energy. He had that monster goal, and then, of course, Asante, a goal and 3 assists. 3rd player in the USL Championship this year to hit that tally on the year, and the 6th all-time in USL Championship history.
A few other notable names there. Nathan up front there for San Antonio. 2 goals in 2 back-to-back games, 4 in total. Absolutely brilliant for him. And then at the back, Jonathan Gomez, the 17-year-old for Lou City, who is moving across to Spain. I think it was Real Sociedad as the team he's going to. Bright future ahead for him.
Well, here in the 33rd minute, it's a scoreless game. If somebody's just tuning in, how would you explain how this match has gone so far in a 0-0 draw?
I think it's been dominated possession-wise by OKC Energy, who have had 2 good one-on-one situations, especially the second one with Jaime Chavez, who probably should have done better, but let's give credit to McIntosh in goal. And for SKC, they've sort of soaked it up and caught them on the counter-attack and had a few little half chances themselves. So an even game, 2 different styles, but slowly SKC too have got themselves back in the match territorial-wise. And it's sitting very even at the moment, which surprised me again. I thought OKC at home would have been slightly more dominant. But long way to go yet. As you said at the beginning, these are both second-half teams, really. They seem just to sort of test each other out first half, and then second half it all comes together.
OKC only has 1 win in 6 tries here at Taft Stadium on the season. Sporting KC 2 has had 2 wins, both on the road in their last 3. 34th minute. Rogers chips it forward. Promptly taken away. We really haven't seen Smith and Mushagalusa get loose for Sporting KC2.
You see the manager, Lee Wittman, saying to Tucker Stevenson, go, go, go. Well done, Tucker, for winning that 50-50.
Now he gets it back from Kurimoto. Taken off of his feet. Kuich waiting for reinforcements. Instead plays in the middle of the field. A lot of space there. SKC2 not looking to take advantage of that opportunity. Instead, they'll play it around the back. Long ball sent over to the left-hand side. Flag stays down. Left-footed shot. Cochran comes up with another big save. Roberts took it on for SKC2 in his first career start, but Cochran answered.
This ball has come a very long way to a player to be unmarked in the box, and I think that's what Cochran was upset about. It's a lovely strike there from young Jamil Roberts. Well, maybe not that young at 23 compared to his 17-year-olds around him, but nonetheless, good strike from that man there, taking the corner, and a good save once again from CJ Cochran.
Roberts, a national champion, with Marshall leading the Thundering Herd to their first ever national title this year. As he strikes the corner, nodded again, looking for Barbier once more. That's almost a very similar way that they took the first corner, where they sent it over the post and tried to play it back into the middle of the box.
I mean, it was fair enough of CJ Cochran to ask the question, how does a long ball that travels 60, 70 yards end up inside the box to a player unmarked who can bring it down and have a shot? And again, just be very careful, OKC, that they look like you're on top against a team like SKC2, but when they counter-attack, they do it ever so quickly.
Chavez gives it back. Stevenson. Now Kurimoto. He sees Bijev on the far side. He'll tap it down. Spin back to the middle. Takes a shot towards the far side. McIntosh had to cover the whole way. Real hand-dipped ice cream, thick milkshakes, old-fashioned banana splits, and sundaes, all made with farm-fresh milk. Brahms is proud to be a part of your family's tradition. Brahms, farm fresh for over 50 years and a proud partner of OKC Energy FC.
Go, 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 go.
Smith comes onto it for SKC2. It's Mushagalusa. Tries to split a pair of defenders instead. Charlie Ward taps it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, he's very closely marked there, wasn't he, Mushagalusa? Had barely enough space to breathe, never mind dribble his way around. Obviously, they've been watching the goal against Atlanta United too, when he slalom past 2 or 3 and toe poked to past the keeper. So he's the danger man as far as OKC Energy are concerned.
Ball bounces around a couple bodies before it's rescued by Kurimoto. The Energy FC charging down the sideline. Into the box goes Chavez. He's the intended target of that cross, but it's answered well by Constant. And SKC2 alleviates the pressure.
Yeah, just looking at that cross, it took too long to put it in. By the time they put it in, the defenders are in place. If you hit that early, everyone's running onto the ball. It just gives your strikers, Jaime Chavez in particular, a better chance of getting on the end of that cross.
Chavez might have been offside by the time the ball was hit as well. Now we settle back into this game where OKC can pass it around their back line before they pick something out. And this pass intended for Bijev, I believe, eventually comes down. And it goes for a throw.
Crowd just watching on, sort of waiting for something to happen, especially from the home side. Of course, all the home supporters could really do with a goal just to liven things up and get the singing and chanting going, because right now it's a lot of hard work from OKC Energy, but all around the fringes. Once again, breaking down, just not threatening. Those 2 chances through the middle against McIntosh. Other than that, not much.
Chavez with the only shot on goal so far. First Fidelity Bank is proud to be an OKC Energy FC founding sponsor. 20 OKC Metro locations make banking convenient for you, especially when combined with our free worldwide ATMs, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. Visit ffb.com today. SKC2 in need of a ball here in the 40th minute, and perhaps we're destined for a 0-0 tally at halftime.
By halftime, yes, but end of the game, given how often these teams score late.
Chavez trying to change that as he links onto this, has to go out wide. Had 2 defenders near him. Now some numbers charging forward for OKC Energy. But not forward enough, as SKC2 once again shuts down any attacking chance.
I just thought with Chavez there for a moment there was a chance of a volley, and then he just took it too wide of goal. But again, he's a good target man, and those long balls through the middle can work.
41st minute. 2 saves from Cochran of OKC Energy, 1 for McIntosh of SKC2. Osmond sends it along. I think Bijev might have touched it, or if he didn't, goes all the way back to McIntosh, who lays on it. Score a great deal with the Brahms Family 4-pack. For only $49, you will get 4 match tickets, 2 buy one get one free Brahms combo vouchers, and 4 Energy FC hats. Visit energyfc.com/Brahms to pick up your Brahms Family 4-pack today. Mushagalusa's pass took a redirect. He was the intended target of that pass from Kuwich. Instead, Bijev nearly had a chance had he slid past the defender. But Rod comes away with it. Kuwich chips it along. Mushagalusa. Mushagalusa trying to get past a defender, is able to do so. Sends it into a very dangerous area, but Daniels tracks back to spike it out of play.
Again, it just shows you how dangerous Mushagalusa is there. Getting past his defender, getting into the box, using his body to protect the ball, and then sending it across into a dangerous position.
Smith able to slow it down. Now Kurimoto. A whole lot of numbers forward, and Kurimoto sensing that. Chavez trying to make the run. He's the intended target of this pass, and he's going to latch onto it, but the flag goes up after a moment for offside.
He was trying to, his run was not offside to begin with, and then the ball didn't come, and he tried to flatten his run, keep himself on side, and he couldn't do it in the end. The idea is good. He's shaking his head saying maybe I wasn't offside, because he saw he was, and he came back and flattened that run. But sometimes the ball has to be played at the perfect time for the striker, otherwise the moment is lost.
Couple minutes to go before the halftime break, and we're scoreless. 2 teams that came in with wins in mind. Mushagalusa, he's able to get onto this. Mushagalusa inside of the box, takes a pass attempt, I believe looking for Smith. It harmlessly goes into Cochran's hands.
Yeah, Mitchell Osmond there. He needs to do better to stop Mushagalusa. They could so easily have ended up in trouble. And the big defender allowing him yet again to get the wrong side of him.
Energy FC would like to thank SSM Health St. Anthony for being the official healthcare partner, and Team Docs for the Energy FC For 121 years, SSM Health St. Anthony has been ready to help and heal patients across OKC. Some of those key touches just haven't quite been there on those passes for the Energy FC tonight thus far.
Yep, they haven't. It's a fair comment. And I'm just looking at this match thinking, who needs the win more? OKC Energy are in a playoff place, but they would look at this match and go, well, this should be on paper anyway one of our easier games. It never is in reality. It's a very good Sporting Kansas City 2 side, but they are bottom of the table. And SKC2 are looking at it going, well, if we win, we're only a point behind OKC Energy and we're back in the playoff hunt. So both teams need a win, and in the second half, one of them's going to have to decide more than the other how badly they want it and push forward.
BJ trying to make that push forward here before halftime as he tries to find Chavez instead of a shot. Comes in from Daniels, and McIntosh with a great response.
Good quick effort there from Aiden Daniels. Didn't have any time to set himself up. Just hit it as it came to him, and the goalkeeper makes a decent save. But well done, Aiden Daniels. Gave him a bit of stick earlier for the chance he didn't take. Well, that one, he just, as it popped up, just whacked it and caused a little bit of a problem there for Kendall McIntosh.
Very alert to that ball to be able to take that strike. So we get 2 minutes of stoppage. That brought to you by SSM Health St. Anthony. Another shot attempt by Daniel. So he's starting to feel it a little bit as he's taking some of these shots.
Yeah, got a little bit carried away with the second one there. That one just a few minutes ago was so good. And he thought he could maybe try and stick it in the top corner. But here's the opportunity. Gets knocked away by a defender, and fantastically quick reactions. Have a look at it from this angle down. Gets knocked down, whoosh, hits that ball and hits it on target. Another decent save from Kendall McIntosh.
McIntosh having a nice match so far. And to finish up that thought on SSM Health St. Anthony, it's ready for you, for the game, for the team, for the community at a moment's notice. Without hesitation, we're ready, and we're proud to be the Energy FC healthcare partner. Moments to go here before we hit the locker room. This is the 6th start of the year for McIntosh. He was out there 13 days ago, picking up the clean sheet against Atlanta United 2. Perhaps one final build-up. Nice overlapping run. It takes a ricochet, but Kurimoto is able to push it out towards midfield. SKC2 trying not to waste this final opportunity here. BJ thought that it was a handball. There's no whistle, and then Roberts has it taken off of his feet. Overall, been a fairly clean opening half. A yellow card per side. Some fine opportunities, but it looks like we're going into the break with a 0-0 draw in hand. And 2 second-half teams that are very strong are going to have their chances in the second half to try to come away with 3 points. As we hit the halftime whistle here. Very tight match so far. Very tight meetings between these clubs so far. And Gary, you look at these clubs. It is a very, very tight effort, and second half, we'll see which second half team performs well.
Well, we hope to get some excitement in the second half. There's been chances, and maybe they should have been taken, like Chavez here. But I think there's goals to come in the second half.
A long ball switch that led to an opportunity for Roberts on SKC2. Cochran picked it up. 0-0 at the break.
Real commitment doesn't stumble. It doesn't hesitate. It's ready at a moment's notice, on the sidelines and in the stands. It leans in and gets loud. We're ready for you, for our club, for our city, for whatever comes next. We're SSM Health St. Anthony, and we're proud to be the official healthcare partners of the OKC Energy FC.
See the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and a giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the buffs. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex on. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shit, my bros rock.
Minutes in the books between OKC Energy and Sporting KC2. It's now time to take a look at the highlights from Week 14 in the USL Championship with Devin Kerr.
They say revenge is a dish. Best served goal. Shisu, the dish. Week 14 in honor of China, currently leading the Olympics. 4 medals, 3 golds. At the top, you know who's not at the top? San Antonio FC. Winless in 7 games. No longer. Jose Agos, ball back across. They just took down one of the best offenses in the entire USL Championship, Colorado Springs. Let's take down one of the best defenses. Square ball back across. Let's repay the favor. Cam Lindley, Gallegos, salsa, flamenco, dancing lessons being given out left and right. The problem is you can't get megged. No gold for New Mexico United. Golden child, that is Jose Gallegos, has a goal and 2 assists. That is your player of the match. Back-to-back victories. Something seems right in the Mountain Division, though nothing is right because 6 points separate first and 6th. Go figure that one out. I'm not a math major, but it sounds bad to me. Hugh, Alexander, Dixon, lottery. Just goes by Alex Dixon these days. The return of the Rochester Rhino to the River Rhinos and Bob Lilly out in front 1-0. Pittsburgh Riverhounds have reassumed their position at the helm in the Atlantic Division during hurricane season, mind you. 27 points, 4 unbeaten, 3 points ahead of Tampa Bay Rowdies. They do have 2 games in hand, though. They win 3-1. Ah, the Triangle Derby. Zico Lewis. Don't give him space. Don't give him time. Don't give him both. But when you do, watch out, because McHugh Daly runs on the back post and sticks this in the inside. Cheers. Brandon Miller started off strong. Now he's here. Not a good look for the goalkeeper. I think the headband was a little bit too tight. Fast forward, up 1-0. Insult to injury. Kuzminski, the goalkeeper. Ball up over the top. Is he going to get an assist? Joel Bontang, the loanee. Just kidding. That's local boy who does well. Joel Bunting. High school, college, pro. Goals at every level. They win 2-0. No Dane Kelly. Problems. Colorado Springs, Louisville City. Marquee matchup of Friday night. Let's get it. Lose City up. Very good. No. Yes. Jonathan Gomez. 5th assist on the season. Check the 1-2. Distribution by Kyle Gregg. Finish off by, yes, on the backside by Louisville City. How long does Jonathan Gomez stay in this league, by the way? Chris Whittingham sitting right next to me. He has no idea. He's shaking his head. Oh, I'm sorry. He's shaking his head at the fact that nobody steps in defensively, and the goalkeeper lets it hit him. Not even a save. Bounces off to him. Great recovery by Colorado Springs. Finally get a point. See you around the corner. Highlights and stats.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
The 18, the Marcus Sargent goes to his left, hard strike, and it's in the net, 2-1 Oakland.
Split another massive stop.
Scoots deflected, and a big save from Rawls. As Asante takes this on. Oh, that's a tremendous goal from Solo.
Goals are something we outline for ourselves, and oftentimes they can be pretty lofty. When things begin to line up the way we think they should, we appreciate those who helped us along the way, like the help you get with commercial banking from FFB. Our experts are ready to partner with you to help you manage cash flow, oversee accounts through online banking, and help you secure a business line of credit. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
At Brahms, we offer more than just burgers, shakes, and fries. We have an entire fresh market for your everyday grocery needs, from farm fresh milk to meats, freshly baked breads, and produce. We also carry a wide variety of our premium ice cream, frozen yogurt, and sherbet. And with Brahms delivery trucks running 7 days a week, our items are always fresh. Stop by your neighborhood Brahms Fresh Market for an incredibly fast, incredibly convenient grocery shopping experience, so you can spend more time on things that matter most.
Welcome you back to halftime. It's a scoreless affair. OKC Energy FC and Sporting KC 2. Brahms has been serving delicious cheeseburgers made with 100% pure beef patties, along with their signature limeades and crinkle-cut fries, real hand-dipped ice cream, thick milkshakes, old-fashioned banana splits, and sundaes, all made with their farm fresh milk. Brahms, farm fresh for over 50 years and a proud partner of OKC Energy FC. News and notes time from around the USL Championship. Mid-year meetings took place earlier this week. First time that over 200 USL team executives attended in-person meetings. We mentioned Solomon Asante, a goal and 3 assists as he continues to showcase his brilliance, and he'll be on showcase in our ESPN game on August 4th against the newcomers Oakland Roots, coming up at 10 p.m. on ESPN2 in just about 10 days. And then we take a look at the upcoming schedule in the USL Championship. A couple of good late ones. That Phoenix Rising game tonight against San Diego, who sits in 3rd place in that contest. Anything stick out to you in terms of this schedule?
Yeah, looking at Las Vegas Lights, they need to get a win under their belt. Lost their last match. And a win against Orange County vital if they want to try and still make the playoffs. And Oakland Roots up against Los Dos. Roots have really struggled this season. Here's a chance for them maybe to get some points on the board.
Always going to be an interesting slate from around the rest of the league in terms of action, as FC Tulsa and Atlanta United on Wednesday, as well as we take a look at the scoreboard currently in action. You take a look at some of those scores. Memphis stole a goal late in the opening half against FC Tulsa to take that 1-0 lead, and then there's some finals as well, and Charleston continues their winning ways, taking down Charlotte 2-0.
Yeah, important they did that. Both those teams outside of the playoffs, and Charlotte now in real trouble of trying to make the top 4. They did beat Charleston twice, 3-0 this season. Revenge for the Battery. And have a look at Miami FC after a fantastic run. Hartford once again surprising everyone with the results they get. Tampa Bay are back to winning ways against Loudoun.
After dropping 3 straight, they're back in the win column. Energy FC is excited to welcome the Lincoln at Central Park Apartments as a proud partner of the club, the official home of Energy FC players. The Lincoln at Central Park Apartment Homes is the epitome of luxury apartment living in Oklahoma City. For more information, please call 405-759-5583. Be sure to mention the promo code #ThisIsOurCity for special discounts. Halftime here at Taft Stadium. It's 0-0. OKC Energy and Sporting KC2 have typically had wonderful second halves, and we'll have first half highlights, stats, and the second half action when we return here at Taft Stadium next.
United Turf and Track is proud to be a partner and the official sports field service provider for the Energy FC practice facility and training grounds. United Turf and Track is a turnkey sports field construction, installation, renovation, and consulting company for natural grass and synthetic turf field systems. With over 50 years of combined experience in sports field construction and service management, United Turf and Track is the only certified field builder in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Contact us today for your next field construction or renovation project.
To the IT professionals, enabling companies across the country to work from home and making business as usual out of unusual circumstances. This new way of working doesn't work without you. Your company is counting on you, and you can count on Cox Business Cloud Solutions. So keep collaborating, keep adapting. We'll keep your data safe and accessible through it all.
Welcome to Loves. Here, technology drives us. That's why we research technology advancements in our own labs. It's why we're constantly developing new tools to improve the ways you move. Ways that lead to safer, more efficient travel. Here at Loves, we believe that technology drives us all forward. Loves, working to bring innovation to the highway.
Back to Taft Stadium with Gary Bailey, Michael Watrang watching this one along with you in a 0-0 tally at halftime as we take a look at the first half. Highlights some chances for both sides, and this one coming off of a corner kick. Barbier right on the doorstep, but Cochran able to make the save.
Yeah, knocked down for Barbier. Has a quick shot, can't get too much pace behind it. Straight at the goalkeeper who makes a decent save.
Cochran came up big, and this was later on in the half, and a prime chance for Chavez in the 28th minute, but McIntosh comes up with a save.
Good save from the keeper. Just thought Chavez could have maybe tried to hit the ball a bit earlier with the keeper off his line, but keeper makes a decent save. Then a lovely long ball here, and gets to bring it down does Jamil Robertson. CJ Cochran with yet another save. Some poor defending perhaps in that OKC Energy defense, allowed to bring it down in the box and shoot.
That came in the 35th minute as we take a look at the highlights tonight, brought to you by Panera Bread. And then at the very final moments, a chance here from Daniels as he hits it first time, but McIntosh with a sprawling stop.
A good save from the keeper again, but Aiden Daniels striking this so quickly as it comes out. Puts a lot of power behind it, but the keeper once again makes the save. Have a look here. Ball gets knocked down. Aiden Daniels straight on it. Whack! Forces McIntosh into a very good save.
We take a look at the halftime stats brought to you by Brahms this evening, and 5 shots for OK Energy FC, 4 for Sporting KC 2. Each team with a pair of shots on target as well. Possession slanted towards OKC Energy, but the much more attacking and tactical side in the final third seems to be SKC 2 so far in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, not much to choose between them, to be fair. The stats fairly even. One thing of interest, 4 accurate crosses to 1 for the visitors. So OKC need to improve their crossing.
You take a look at Declan Wynn entering the match. He replaces Tucker Stevenson, and it's been an interesting journey for Declan Wynn on loan from Phoenix Rising FC. This is his first match since June 2nd, 2019, when he was with Colorado Rapids in the MLS playing against FC Cincinnati. Had some visa things to work out. They're worked out, and he's now playing for the first time in over 2 years as he makes his debut with OKC Energy FC.
I'm not sure if Tucker Stevenson had a knock or not. We didn't see anything. Maybe it's a tactical change. He has scored goals in the past, Tucker Stevenson, and particularly against Atlanta United 2 away, but didn't show much in this particular game. Trouble.
Look at the hustle here from Musha Galusa, but his first touch lets him down, and then he slips on the ball. But that's the pace and ability that Musha Galusa has to be able to make runs like that puts himself in dangerous spots.
And also has the central defenders worried the whole time. You can't afford to stay on the ball too long with him around.
Bijev tries to find Chavez. Instead, it's cleared away. Game opens up here in the opening 60 seconds of the second half after both defensive sides were very tighty in the opening 45.
It's one of those matches that it's important for both sides to get the 3 points. They both need them desperately, perhaps more so SKC 2, because they're rooted to the foot of the table. But OKC Energy know that there's teams behind them hovering, waiting for the chance to jump over them, and they need all the points that they can muster to make sure that doesn't happen. They've got Memphis right behind them. They've got Tulsa, who currently, as the live table stands, are above them. Indy 11, Atlanta 2, all hovering very, very close to OKC.
Yeah, this push for one of the final spots, if not the final 2 spots from this division, are going to be interesting and fun to watch the rest of the year. Corner kick coming up for OKC Energy FC. It's their second of the day. BJev will take it.
I just feel we haven't seen the best of either side as yet, especially OKC. They're capable of so much more, as we saw in the last match against Tulsa. Let's see if they're going to give it to us in the second half.
BJev ready as he strikes it into the middle of the box. It actually nearly had a chance at an initial head. Instead comes out to Kurimoto. Swings it back out wide. BJev back onto the pitch. Slices it to the middle. Back out wide, Jonathan Brown. He strikes it into the box, going to the back post. It's headed back through a dangerous area, but Rod's able to shovel it out to the sideline.
What a good ball that was from Jonathan Brown, by the way. Bending in, and the keeper couldn't come for it, but by the time it landed, it was only about 6 yards out. And I'm looking at Jaime Chavez thinking perhaps this is a ball for you to attack, but a lovely cross there from Jonathan Brown.
49th minute. And it certainly feels like, at least for one of these 2 sides, that we're going to get a goal. And it's brewing here in the second half. There have been some fine opportunities. Just both goalkeepers have come up with some solid stops.
They certainly have, especially Kendall McIntosh. His saves have been crucial. CJ Cochran's perhaps a little bit easier. The one from an angle by Jamil Roberts was a very difficult angle for Roberts.
Look at Musha Galusa, 1-on-3 as he gets towards the box, but once again, that touch just unfortunately lets him down for SKC2.
He needs a bit of support there, doesn't he? He's looking around for O.J. Smith, saying, anyone around, anyone help me out, but no one's quick enough to catch him.
Space here for the Energy. To the sideline. Shuffled back through the middle, looking for Chavez, instead cleared out of play as Declan Wynn sent that in. As you take a look at Lee Wiedemann, took over on June 4th for this club, and his team has played extremely well since.
They have, and they've always seemed to manage to find a way, with the exception of Lou City, which is no disgrace. They've found a way to get through teams, to penetrate them somehow, even if it isn't the last few minutes of a game. And no doubt Lee is thinking the same thing. What can I do? Is it crosses to the big Jaime Chavez? Does BJev need to get freed up on the edge of the box? Who is it? Which player is it? What tactic is it that can get my team the advantage?
50th minute, and it's becoming a more and more difficult SKC2 team to score against, despite the fact that they've given up the 4th most goals in the league. They haven't allowed one now in the last 163 minutes of action. Daniels wants to take a shot, and McIntosh comes up with strong hands once more.
Now Daniels is certainly testing the goalkeeper. It's another excellent strike. Lots of power behind the ball. It's within McIntosh's range, so he should save it, but still it's not an easy save, and he gets it away from trouble as well. He's been a busy goalkeeper tonight, has Kendall McIntosh.
He's had a lot of questions to answer, and he has been stout. Ball chipped into the box. Chavez the intended target. He actually does get ahead to it, but instead it'll be shuffled out once more, again towards the sideline, and go out for a throw.
And that's Jonathan Brown again. That's 2 good crosses he's put in the last few minutes. Here's the shot from the edge of the box. Aiden Daniels set up. Yeah, it's fairly close to Kendall McIntosh, but nonetheless, got to keep an eye on the ball and get rid of it. So a decent save from the goalkeeper. But point there about Jonathan Brown. I wonder if he's been told, get more balls, get more crosses into the box to Jaime Chavez.
Couple screamers from Daniels. McIntosh has stood tall on him. 52nd minute, still scoreless.
It's a time when managers start looking at their bench. Already there's been the one change that we've seen from OKC, but no doubt Paulo Nagamura will be thinking, well, who do I bring on? I've got the likes of Recitar, who's already scored this season, as has Kobe Jones. He scored against Lou City. Two nice options for him. For Lee Vidman, if he wants fresh legs. What about Frankie Lopez, who got the golazo against Tulsa in the last match, and Basulovic? Both managers, no doubt, will start to make changes within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
SKC2 with 5 teenagers on their bench, 4 of which are 17-year-olds. So certainly a bundle of energy awaiting on the SKC2 bench.
It's always wonderful to see, Michael, because you think, are any of these actually going to make it big one day? And the chances are that one of them will. And you would have been there at the beginning of their career, seen them come on as a 17-year-old and hopefully to play for the US or another big country in maybe 10 years' time. And that's the excitement of seeing these young kids. Is there a real gem amongst them?
Look at the giveaway here. Musha Galusa gets into the box, takes a shot, and Cochran comes up with a save.
Musha Galusa is such a threat, pouncing on any error. Again, a very tight angle. You would expect Cochran to make a reasonably comfortable save. Galusa, nobody else is up there with him. No one's quick enough. Not Roger Smith, not Jamil Roberts to actually be there to support him. And he does need a bit of help. It's just him on his own up front at times.
So Jamil Roberts will take this Little Caesars corner kick. A wonderful collegiate career for Roberts. Had the game-winning goal in each of the final 3 rounds of the NCAA tournament against Georgetown, North Carolina, and then the game winner in a 1-0 shutout of Indiana for the national championship, leading Marshall to that program's first ever title. And he's played pretty well. He's been the key man on these set pieces. And he strikes this boomerang towards the back post, looking for Kuwich, and it's over his head. And it sails out of play, this time off of a corner kick. Nothing happens for SKC2. Energy FC wants to thank Tropical Smoothie Cafe for helping feed our players and for being a proud partner for Energy FC. Check out one of their 15 Oklahoma City metro locations or visit order.tropicalsmoothiecafe.com to get your smoothies delivered. 55th minute of play.
It's still a stalemate, isn't it? And you're looking to say who can get that breakthrough, because once you do, then the whole match, the whole exchange starts to change. You know, teams that are down have to come out and attack. Teams that are up might decide to defend or go for a second. You just need that one first goal just to break the deadlock and force the teams to make new decisions.
These two teams have been stingy against each other this year. Grand total of 3 goals in 2 matches between the two clubs. OKC getting the better of SKC2 the last time around on June 23rd with a 1-0 win thanks to Bijev's goal in stoppage time of the first half. That was a very dangerous challenge, and that's really interesting. Smith is the guilty party, although it certainly looked like Wynn was the one that initiated the contact.
I don't think there was anything nasty about that at all. He's just gone over the top, Wynn, and he's committed there, and then he's just ducked his head a little bit, Roger Smith, which wasn't to cause Wynn problems. It was probably to stop him getting a knee in the back of the head. I don't think there was anything nasty from Roger Smith, and just good to see Declan Wynn up and about. But if you want to impress your new teammates with your commitment, well, I think he's managed to do that.
Wynn has 15 caps for New Zealand in terms of international appearances, 36 appearances in the MLS. And now his first appearance with OKC Energy. Foul whistled on Bijev, gives the ball right back to SKC2.
Been a bit quiet, Bijev, given how many goals he scored and how much trouble he's caused teams in the last month or two. And even the energy level, they were unbelievable against Tulsa. OKC pumped up when they scored goals. Well, to be fair, they scored the winning goal with the final kick of the match, so you are going to get a bit pumped up. But the celebration after the game, winning at Tulsa, they did so well, and then this just seems a little bit flat in comparison. And maybe it's unfair to compare winning at Tulsa with a home game against SKC2, but nonetheless, you look at your home fans, you want to entertain them, and we just haven't seen enough energy yet from OKC Energy. That's why they're named that, surely.
Yeah, it's right in the name. You don't need a reminder. And a foul whistled, and this will be a very dangerous location for a free kick.
And Mitchell Osman saying, I didn't give away the free kick, and the referee saying, no, I'm not actually pointing at you, I'm pointing at Kurimoto, and saying that he was the one who infringed. Let's see how he infringes here. Kurimoto, look at the number 8. Didn't see him do much, to be honest. But the referee's right there. Maybe there's a foot in. Yeah, you can see it from that angle. See a little bit of a foot in from Kurimoto. But referee's literally 2 yards away when he makes that decision.
Well, this makes things interesting now for SKC2. Which player takes it? And where do you try to slot it?
Top corner if you can. Just saying. Problem is, it's so difficult to get it over the wall and down it. When the likes of Lionel Messi do it and other great players, it makes it look easy to the folk at home. But this is a tough one for Peter Kuich to get it up and down and in the corner.
Roberts is over there as well. And it'll be Roberts, and he hits the massive wall. It felt like pretty much every player that wasn't over the ball was in that area. And it never got all the way to the keeper.
Yeah, like I say, very difficult to get it up and down. Unless you were trying to go through the wall. Sometimes players hit the wall in the hope that someone in the wall turns their body and it can sneak through. But that's a real lottery ticket type free kick. If you want to do it, you know, the more likely, the more advantageous way to score is to get it over the wall and down than in the corner, which, as I say, you know, good luck. I've seen Ronaldo practice that for hour and hour on end before he gets it right, and even then he doesn't get it right that often. The only one who does it time and time again is Lionel Messi. Absolutely incredible ability to strike a ball.
Always world class in those positions. Here in the 59th minute, Roberts again takes another corner kick. They go to the back post. I don't know if Cochran did get a piece of that, but Rod was chasing onto it. And it seems like the training ground efforts of SKC2 is take corners to the back and try to chip it back into the middle of the box. Here's all those potential substitutes for SKC2 on this corner kick opportunity. This one's sent low, and there's no bodies there. You can see by the shape there are a bunch of blue jerseys once again residing on the back post. To the middle of the field, Smith sends it backwards. Smith gets it back. Smith waiting. Now the cross comes into the box. Mushagalusa, the intended target. I don't see a foul being whistled here. It goes out of play, and they'll stop action. And it kind of looked like Mushagalusa got his arm up there, perhaps for a foul, and there was no call.
And that was great defending, because there was a player waiting to head that into the back of the net. And if it wasn't for Rogers, I think, who was the man who got that touch, that could very easily have been a goal and just landed awkwardly. Let's have a look at it again. Ball whipped in. Rogers, yep, you're right, gets pushed by Mushagalusa, but right behind him there was an SKC2 player looking to head it in the back of the net.
He certainly didn't land well on that either, and I think that Rogers is going to be okay.
Brave defending commitment there from OKC, and referee allows a bit of play on there.
Mushagalusa turning, but as he's trying to beat a pair of defenders, loses possession.
I'm just wondering now for OKC, it'd be a good time to bring on Frankie Lopez and maybe Basulovic. Can't see any action down on the touchline yet, but 60 minutes in, if you're Lee Wiedemann, you've got to be thinking, I've given these guys 15 minutes in the second half. I'm still not seeing enough going forward. Time for fresh legs and fresh ideas. It's got to come soon, the substitution, surely.
Well, to reiterate that point, 10 of the team's 13 goals this year have come in the final 30 minutes of action, including each of the last 5. So this is when OKC Energy turns it on. Chavez. And I believe we get a foul whistled. Or check that. Are they going offside?
Taking their time to get themselves organized for this free kick. It's almost like they're trying to run the clock down already. It's 30 minutes to go.
They did go with the offside flag, and that's why SKC2 was able to reset. With Gary Bailey, Michael Watrank, thanks for tuning in with us. 62nd minute of a scoreless affair. Chances for each side have been there, but saves by Cochran and McIntosh have been the story of this one. McIntosh, a couple from outside of the box that he's needed to have strong hands with. This cross comes in and handled well. There's Daniels. This has been the area of the field where he's taken a bunch of hard shots. Tries to find Bijev. Instead, it's Pilford. Good defending by Kurimoto to take it off of an opponent's foot. Kurimoto. There has been space around midfield for OKC Energy much of the night.
Yeah, they're sitting deep again, SKC, and they don't seem to worry too much about the stats. In the last match when they beat Atlanta United 2, they only had 38% possession. They had less than 100 passes in the opposition half versus 219 for Atlanta United 2. So they're very comfortable sitting deep and saying we'll play you on the counter using Musha Galusa's pace, which did work quite well against Atlanta United 2. Musha with the goal. And like I say, 38% possession, not too worried at all were SKC 2.
1-0 clean sheet. And with the postponement of one of their matches, they haven't allowed a goal in 22 days. Granted, they gave up 4 to Louisville City FC. We really do start to wonder right now with the time ticking where it is. We've only seen one substitute. That was Wynn coming on at halftime for OKC Energy. What kind of changes do these two managers make?
There's a couple of goal scorers on the bench. You mentioned Kobe Jones scoring against Lou City for SKC 2. I think they could bring him on, and Resitar as well has a goal this season. Because you want to win the game. You want to bring on players who can impact the game and be positive. And in the same way, Frankie Lopez must be putting his hand up to Lee Wittman saying, hey, remember that golazo I scored in the last match? I can do it again.
For now, it's SKC applying a little bit of pressure. LaFleur tried to split a couple, tried to take a dive as well, and that won't be received well by the officiating crew. Energy FC is proud to welcome Social Capital as the official watch party location for the 2021 season. Bring your family and watch every Energy FC away match at the #1 rated craft beer bar in Oklahoma by Forbes magazine and craftbeer.com. Social Capital boasts 120 independent craft beers on tap, a variety of cocktails and wine, a full menu of street tacos and more with Oklahoma City's largest rooftop patio.
There's a few tongue twisters there with your beer bar and
well, it seems like a great place to go watch the game.
Sounds like fun. We could do with some fun here. We could do with a goal just to really liven things up. Fans have been patient and waiting, and they've had a lot of, as you say, chances. Goalkeepers have made saves, but nothing to really get overexcited about yet. But as we know with these two teams, they liven up towards the end of the game.
Well, we mentioned too that OKC has played so well, 4 wins in their last 6, but only one of those wins have come here at home. And you know the fans here at Taft Stadium would love to have something to celebrate along with the team. Long ball, Bijev. He is able to slow it down. He's able to get possession back. Sends it back, and now a switching of the field. Heavy touch, crossed into the middle. Bijev with a slide tackle wins possession back. Good hustle to get it to Ward. Kurimoto. This is good by Energy.
Much better. And almost feel like an increase in energy. The way they're winning the 50-50s, the way they're having a go. Getting Bijev involved. That was one of the keys to the game. Haven't seen much of him there, but every time he's on the ball, it causes problems. And I'm a little bit surprised they don't sort of knock the ball to him more often. Certainly if I was a defender against Bijev, I'd be very happy to see the ball on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah, Bijev with 5 goals this year, now 34 in his USL Championship career. Always a hot target as McIntosh is able to haul this one down. Was the backup keeper with New York Red Bulls in MLS last season. Looking to find his footing now with a new club.
It's a problem with being a backup goalkeeper. You get very few games. It's different when you're an outfield player. They can slot you in and out and move you around. As a keeper, there's only one position you play. So if the incumbent's playing well, you can sit for days, weeks, and months.
And it's true, too, because when you're an outfield player, if you play 3 or 4 games in a couple-week period, you need a break. Mushagalusa into the box. Mushagalusa thinking, still thinking. Mushagalusa off the side of the cage. Does take a deflection. It goes out for a corner.
As you could see, Roger Smith in the middle had his hands up the whole time saying, play me, play me, play me. He was free, and Mushagalusa either didn't see him or had his head down looking at the ball or ignored him. I'm not quite sure which of the 3 it was. But Roger not happy by the end of it.
Mushagalusa now the league leader in terms of shots.
Have a look at Roger on the right-hand side of your screen with his arms out. Constantly saying, play it to me, play it to me, play it to me. And to be fair to Mushagalusa, a lot of players around him probably just couldn't even see Roger.
Roberts again to tee up a corner. Strikes it this time near post, and Kurimoto's there with his noggin. Mushagalusa again, he's always around the ball. Does this lead to a counterattack opportunity for OKC Energy? Rogers shifts it all the way back. Now skied out towards the middle of the field. Bijev the intended target. Well, now Smith is going to get an opportunity to touch the ball. Let's see what he decides to do. 2 defenders on him as he wins his team another corner.
Good pressure here from SKC too.
Already the 6th corner of the match, 4 of them coming here in the second half.
Still very delicately balanced. Still surprised we haven't seen subs. To me, they have to come soon. There's some tired legs out there and tired bodies, and whenever a fresh player comes on, they bring a whole bunch of energy with them.
Roberts ready. Bright yet red boots, strikes it to the back post. Rod hits it high into the air, and Cochran handles.
You're right about those corners. Every single one has been far post, and I'm thinking, if you're going to knock them all far post, get more bodies there. You know, if it's intended, that's what you're trying to do, then you want bodies to peel away from the near post and come all the way around to the back post.
Does that make you a little predictive as a keeper that maybe you start to cheat whenever there is a corner kick, seeing that a team is going back post the entire time?
It's tempting, and you certainly would take it into your calculation, but more than likely what you do is move some of your defenders to the far post and you know, tactically change. As a keeper, you don't want to change your position too much, but point is they haven't got much out of it, have they, SKC?
Nothing so far for either side. Bijev, high arcing chip, lands in the box, crossed in, Chavez the header, and it sails wide. Didn't quite get enough on it as it goes out for a goal kick.
Oh, he's frustrated there, but he was going backwards. It's so difficult to generate power when you're trading backwards. Have a look, Bijev with the ball through, and it's going to come back, and maybe should have been knocked closer to him in front of Chavez. Have a look at Chavez on your right hand side. He's having to come back and sort of twist his head and try and get power on it. Very, very difficult to do.
First Fidelity Bank is proud to be an OKC Energy FC founding sponsor. Our 20 OKC Metro locations make banking convenient for you, especially when combined with our free worldwide ATMs, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. Visit ffb.com today. Well, now we're starting to have to ask the question, are we going to see a goal in this match as we get towards the final quarter hour of play?
Well, if history's anything to go by, the answer is yes, because they do tend to pop up, especially OKC. But it has been a long wait for the fans to get something to cheer about. And I still think a Frankie Lopez could make a sudden massive difference for OKC anyway.
It is interesting that we have not seen any more subs outside of Wynn coming in to start the second half.
I mean, obviously managers know a lot more about their players than we do in terms of, you know, who's carrying injuries, and obviously they want to rotate to keep a player fit for the next game. It's coming up soon. But just in the general scheme of things, you know, anywhere between 60 and 75 minutes is when you bring on fresh legs to add something to the game.
Bijev, delightful touches, doesn't have a lot to get onto that, and it's swept away. '73rd minute of a scoreless draw in this Central Division clash. Mushagalusa able to flick it on, but not enough. And now a shot attempt comes on. McIntosh saves it. It was a nice juicy rebound, but no jerseys were in the box for OKC Energy.
Good point. It was a good rebound. McIntosh pushing it back into a danger area. He was quick to rectify that, got up and jumped on it. But if anyone was hovering, especially a Bijev, it was a nice little opportunity for them. That's the pressure you want. Make the goalkeeper work. They're not always going to get it 100% right, and that's when you can pounce on any errors.
Force him to make a save, force him to think about it. And McIntosh has been tested, and he has answered his calling very well tonight. Angling for a second consecutive clean sheet.
Yeah, very solid goalkeeping from both, from CJ Cochran as well, but in particular, Kendall McIntosh having to make one or two crucial saves. Again, the Jaime Chavez one first half was probably the best chance all round, and keeper made a good save with his feet.
That chance came in the 28th minute on a run out that Chavez was unmarked. Tapped along Daniels. Just didn't have the pace to get it out wide. Brown was making the run unmarked.
It was a lazy pass from Daniels. He needed to really put some oomph behind that, and Jonathan Brown was into the space. He's worked very hard, Aiden Daniels, but he's one of those players whose legs are probably giving out roundabout now. Jaime Chavez, haven't seen much from him as well, both walking their way back.
75th minute. That's so many chances that have gone by the wayside for each club. It felt like a goal has been brewing for a little bit, but so far nothing.
And it is a problem for OKC. Only 13 goals in 14 games, less than a goal a game. That's 24th worst in the USL out of 31 teams.
Here's a right-footed sailing attempt that finds the seats. And we're going to get a hydration break here in the second half. We had one in the first half, get one in the second half. So despite the fact that we've needed hydration breaks in each half, we've only seen one substitute. So the manager's clearly thinking that these hydration breaks are the opportunities for them to get breathers.
There's Lee Vidman just saying to them, let's keep it pumped up and let's keep going. But it's making that point. 24th out of 31 teams in the USL, 13 goals only in 14 games. It hasn't been their strong point, OKC. And there's a whole bunch of players who really haven't. I mean, Brasulovic hasn't scored. Jaime Chavez not scored. Charlie Ward, Jonathan Brown. You want goals to come from players other than Bijev with 5 and Frankie Lopez with 3. I think those are the only ones who are above 1. Tucker Stevenson's got 1, Karimoto 1, Mitchell Osman 1. But you need goals to come from other sources as well. Set pieces, strikes from the edge of the box. Hasn't been happening. So for OKC, they've really had to sort of wring results out of, you know, games in which they've scored and had to defend, which they've managed to do. But I'm sure Lee Wittman is looking for more going forward from his team at home, especially.
Certainly putting a lot of pressure on your team when you're only putting one goal into the back of the net on average per match. Forces you to really defend your side. Does look like we're going to get one of those questions answered. It looks like Frankie Lopez and Arun Basulovic,
yeah.
yes, coming in as well.
There we go. At last.
You called for it. Well, actually, it looks like we'll get 3 separate substitutes. Brad Dunwell will come in as well with Basulovic and Lopez.
Yeah. Just felt Chavez had done his time there. His legs were getting a little bit tired, and possibly would have felt maybe 10 minutes earlier this could have happened. But again, managers know more about their players than we do, and which players are carrying a bit of a knock and which ones they're lining up for a game to come in the near future. So the changes are now made. Let's see if they have the desired impact.
Substitutions brought to you by SSM Health St. Anthony. So 3 of them, 3 fresh bodies onto the pitch for OKC.
Basulovic in particular is a very clever player, very creative. Frankie Lopez very sharp up front, so I think they're going to bring a whole different energy to this OKC side.
Foul is going to be whistled here against OKC Energy, giving a free kick to SKC. So 79th minute, SKC getting a chance to set it up. They've had a boatload of set pieces, not just corners, but some of these opportunities, and they've had plenty of chances. Let's see if some of that work on the training ground pays off. Chip towards the back post. It's responded to well by Mitchell Osman. Not out of danger yet. A left-footed ball comes in. Smith the intended target. Rogers heads it out. And now a miss hit on a ball that goes into the box and has to be sliced out of play by Jonathan Brown.
Good defending there by OKC, and Mitchell Osman in particular. Winning the headers, clearing the danger. That's what you need to do at this stage, at any stage. They've done it well.
There have been a bunch of bodies for SKC down on the sideline, but nobody been called upon yet. Constant strikes it deep. Roberts latching onto it, and the flag staying down. Roberts sends it into the box. It's right on the post, and Cochran comes up to stop it.
Oh, it's a tricky ball there for Cochran. Gets away with that one.
Now Bijev nearly latched onto it. Game opening up slightly here in the 80th minute.
You get the sense that one goal is going to seal it here because there isn't much time left in this match. Who wants it most?
Basulovic strikes it forward, win, taps it. Bijev looking for Basulovic to make that run and never really gave him a chance.
This is the energy someone like Basulovic brings. Gets the ball, runs into space, looks to get it back. That's the fresh legs and the positive approach.
So indeed there will be a sub. It'll be the 19-year-old from Slovenia replacing Kuic. It'll be Jankic coming into the match. Taking out Kuic. So one of those teenagers from the bench. Of 5 of the 7 bench players are teenagers, and Jankic the first one to make an appearance.
3 caps for the Croatia U17 team, so has a good pedigree. does the new man on the pitch.
Roughly 9, maybe 10 minutes or so to go. Do we have a goal in this match? Or do we stick it out at a 0-0 draw? In the first 2 meetings this year, a 1-1 tie and a 1-0 OKC Energy win. That was here. Basulovic, Bijev gets it right back to Basulovic, who falls down. Mushagalusa the intended target, but given right back to Basulovic. Rogers. LaFleur battling it out with Brown, but Brown comes out of there with it. Back to Dunwell. Looking out wide for Bijev. It's headed over to him by an SKC defender.
Good spell for OKC. You get the sense that they're on top here, that they want to go for the winner. Camped in this half now, and they're very deep, SKC, in their final third. Not even bothered about the halfway line anymore. It's just defending really deep.
Are there any holes in that defense? Good ball played along. Wynn trying to get to it and just doesn't have the pace as it goes out. And it certainly looked like something was building there for just a moment. Hey, OKC Energy fans, visit any of the 9 Oklahoma City area Panera Bread locations for a creamy mac and cheese or the classic bacon turkey bravo. Try the new Chipotle chicken and bacon flatbread pizza, or everyone's seasonal favorite, the strawberry poppy seed salad. These and other favorites are sure to have you cheering. Order online at PaneraBread.com for pickup or delivery right to you. Your favorites only at Panera.
A little bit of cramp, and in fact, the physio suggesting that maybe they'll need a replacement. They've worked hard, SKC too. They really have run themselves into the ground defending, as have both sides, but especially the visitors in particular. And Nagamura just calling his subs over.
That's Jahan Rod, that a little bit of cramping to deal with. And I believe we're going to get a look at one of those 17-year-olds that is going to come into the match as Rod is coming off the pitch. '85th minute, still scoreless. And just as OKC was trying to take the throw, is going to give us a chance to get that substitute in. Javen Vandeventer, the 17-year-old from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, will enter the contest and replace Rod.
And now the 18-year-old Isaiah LaFleur feels like an experienced pro because a youngster's come on, 1 year younger than him.
Yeah, at 18 years old, you're the senior statesman now.
But again, huge credit to the whole setup there at SKC2 for bringing through these youngsters, such young talent, and difficult at that age to come up against men who are in their late 20s and 30s. But it's what you got to do if you're going to be a professional at this level.
Basulovic, OKC looking for a probable winner. Back post ball looking for Bijev. He's able to get ahead to it. Bodies collide in the box, and I think Lopez is going to get whistled for a foul.
He does, but that's what I like about Lopez. He gets stuck in, he pushes, he shoves. He's got this energy that I was hoping to see a little bit earlier in the game. Sometimes a little bit too fiery, but that's what you want when your team is struggling to get a breakthrough. Look at him against the big central defender there. He's a small man, Frankie Lopez, but he comes with a whole bundle of energy.
5'9" out of Cuba. You mentioned the 3 goals. '86th minute. SKC maybe steal one? Or does OKC Energy find one of these attacking passes to fall through and get a great chance? Bijev gets into the box, tries to swing it in. It takes a redirect, and Bijev concedes the goal kick. Well, I think at this point in the match, SKC would be fine walking away from this pitch with just 1 point in their pocket. On the other side for OKC, perhaps thinking that maybe they should have gotten an extra couple points, and maybe it's too little too late in terms of their press to try to get that goal.
Oh, absolutely. They would have looked at this match, OKC, and thought, this is a game we have to win. It's the bottom team in the table. We're at home. We're in a good run of form, but they just haven't sparkled today. Bijev in particular, and maybe got to give him some slack because he's been so good so often. Maybe he's quite right to turn to the others and say, well, hey, guys, you know, if I don't have a good game, we lose, or we don't win, rather. You know, it's not good enough. Somebody else needs to step up, especially in midfield. Where's the goals from defense? Where's the goals from out wide, from our wing backs? But he hasn't been his normal self there, Bijev. I don't know about a point, though, for SKC too. It doesn't get them any clearer or closer to the playoffs, and surely that is what these players want. They want to get in that playoff position, and they need a win to do it. So I'm not sure either side is going to be that happy with a draw.
SKC only had 1 win in their first dozen matches. They've won 2 of their last 3 coming into this. But I think you're right. At some point, you got to start picking up some 3 points from contests. So one of those goal scorers that you were referring to earlier, Kobe Jones, is coming on, but he's replacing Roger Smith, who does have 4 goals this season.
That's probably Roger's super tired now after putting in a good shift, and some fresh legs come on. And let's see what Kobe Jones can do. Another 17-year-old.
Five teenagers on the pitch right now for SKC. And they still have a couple on the bench if they so choose. That's one of the teenagers, 19-year-old Jake Davis from Rochester, Michigan. Mushagalusa thought about racing after that. He's had a couple opportunities tonight, but he's been fairly quiet over the last 30-40 minutes.
He's very sharp, though, isn't he? Any mistakes, he pounces on them. He's got this blistering pace that defenders worry about constantly, so they often double team him and crowd him out. Such a good player, Mushagalusa.
5 goals at just 21 years of age.
And that's joint 12th in the USL. Both him and Bijev with 5, and they're both joint 12th in the entire USL. That's impressive.
Winding down towards stoppage time. Well, if you're OKC Energy, you're thinking back to that game against FC Tulsa and thinking, all we need is that last kick. Kurimoto sending in the game winner. And in this one, once again, playing down to the end. In a contest that is a draw against that FC Tulsa match. This was around the time that they conceded the equalizer, and then 7 minutes into stoppage time, Kurimoto came up with a goal that ended up winning it.
Wasn't just a goal. It was an unbelievable volley. Brilliant way to end a match.
Bijev on the sideline sends it backward. 5 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by SSM Health St. Anthony. Osmond sends it back. Rogers sends it into the box, and it's cleared away and out of play.
Rogers going up. Well, if there's any time you want to come up as a big central defender and write your name in lights, this is a time to do it. Big and strong he's been in defense. Rogers and Donovan and Mitchell Osmond. Well, here's a chance to turn it into being the hero.
Little Caesar's corner kick. Bijev strikes it into the box. Donovan, the intended target, who has a couple goals this year, can't come up with it off the punch from McIntosh. And now perhaps a break on that is promptly stalled out by OKC.
Yeah, McIntosh again. Impossible to beat, so it seems, in this match. It's a frustrating one for OKC after the good run they've had. They'll feel like it's points lost at home. But I think you have to give a lot of credit to Sporting Kansas City too for the way they've defended, got behind the ball, closed it down, made it difficult for OKC, and they've kept a very close eye on Bijev as well.
Here is Bijev. Look at him elude not just one, but now two defenders. He takes the shot low, and McIntosh makes that one look easy, and Bijev goes right to his head, thinking maybe he should have done better from that distance.
Yeah, it didn't connect it that well, did it? It was just, I think it was possibly going slightly wide of the post, but it bounces along the ground in the process. Have a look at bobble, bobble, bobble. There's not much pace there. Frankie Lopez is following up in case McIntosh drops it, which he doesn't.
Well, the journey that OKC has been on over the last year plus, just one win in 16 tries in 2020, a -17 goal differential.
Wow.
They were winless in their first 8 matches this year. So even if it is just a draw, they will come away with points in what would be 6 of their last 7 matches.
Yeah, it's impressive when you look at it that way, but I'm sure Lee Wiedemann is so, he's done so well. He's got so much out of these players that he'll be disappointed with today. You would have felt they were capable of so much more. And you're at home, you know what it's like in front of your home fans. You want to put on a good display. If you end up drawing 3-3, it's one thing, but 0-0, it doesn't leave the fans with a lot to shout about. And you want your home to be a fortress. You want to play really well at home in the hope that next time the crowd is bigger and more people come along and they get the drums playing, and you know, you create that sort of home environment where other teams sort of fear to come and play you.
Well, perhaps it is a late goal that provides that excitement. Into the box, responded to, and a foul is whistled on OKC Energy. And bodies down inside of the box.
I'm not quite sure who hit who and what happened. That's what Lee Wiedemann's saying, is if it's 2 of their own players who bump into each other, then why is the foul given? I'd like to see it again just to see who does bump into who, but sometimes it's so difficult to tell, especially for the officials. Let's have a look. Ball comes in, and well, we just got a frozen moment there, but you could see 2 blue shirts going up, so it could very well be that they hit each other, in which case it would be a bit of an unfair decision, but looks like there's a bit of an injury here.
Well, let's see what the decision is here from Paulo Nagamura.
A man who played so well in his time for Sporting Kansas City in midfield, and so much experience and knowledge to pass on to these young players. Well, it just shows you the commitments there, the sweating and the cramping and everything else that goes on after a hard game. And while we don't have any goals to appreciate, we have chances, we have saves, and we have players who've given absolutely everything this evening.
OKC Energy 4 shots on target. SKC 2, 3 shots on target. Each keeper working on a clean sheet. Would be the 5th of the season for CJ Cochran, who entered in the top 5 in the league in terms of clean sheets.
Oh, poor Jake Davis, his leg is just seized up. Those who have played the game know what that's like. It's so painful, and your body just cancels out and says, "All right, that's me, I'm done."
And then you have the official sitting there saying, "Hey, let's get off, let's go, let's get out of here." And you're like, "Oh, I'm walking as fast as I can." Trying to chug that Gatorade as well.
Again, it just shows you that the amount of commitment put in by these players, especially the young players of Sporting Kansas City too. And their goalkeeper, Kendall McIntosh, with some fine saves.
Well, now you do wonder how much time is left. Mushagalusa. Davis is back on the pitch. Mushagalusa Thinking, still thinking, playing it into the middle of the box. It's cleared away. Vasilovic sends it out wide. Bijev strikes it all the way across the field. Lopez will watch it bounce. Sets up his body, plays it back. Now comes all the way back. You think that there might be maybe a few more seconds left. Rogers into the box. Cleared out towards the middle of the field, headed out of play.
Doesn't help OKC when you've replaced Jaime Chavez with little Frankie Lopez and you start knocking high balls in the box. What you want to do is get to the line and whip them across for Lopez. He's just looking at those high balls coming in and going, what am I going to do with those?
97th minute. Well, you have to imagine right now that we're just seconds away from the full-time whistle.
Yeah. So much for these teams scoring in the second half. That prediction of ours didn't come true, did it?
These two teams love to score late. 13 of the 18 goals this year for SKC2 in the second half. 10 of the 13 for OKC Energy have come in the final half hour. Well, we now have 2 balls on the pitch. And one final little build up here. And you certainly have to throw this into the box and hope you get a good bounce. Rogers tosses it in. It's headed away, and there is the full-time whistle in a 0-0 draw. Each side will walk away with a point, but certainly I think both sides thought that maybe they should have taken advantage of some opportunities, but each keeper comes up big, and our man of the match brought to you by Mid-First Bank is CJ Cochran. He comes up with 3 saves this evening in a 0-0 draw, and for the second time this year, both sides walking away with just a point.
Yeah, some good saves from the big man there, good control of his box, and he'll be very pleased with the clean sheet, very pleased with his performance, maybe not so pleased with his buddies up front who couldn't find a way through against another good goalkeeper in Kendall McIntosh. Lee Wiedmann, after a good run, well, he hasn't lost the match, and the last 6 have only lost to Lou City, which is no disgrace, but he would love to have given those wonderful fans a little bit more entertainment tonight, but you can't always switch it on and switch it off, and in the end, a point for both sides.
Well, 2 teams in great form entering this one. Won't see their form go down at all as they take a point away and a positive result at the end of the day. We're back to Taft Stadium to wrap things up as OKC Energy and SKC2 draw at 0-0 when we come back here in a moment. Stick with us.
Success is achieved through hard work, and many business owners work tirelessly for years to realize the dream of franchising their business. FFB partners with companies of all sizes every day and offers an extensive variety of treasury services. FFB will outline a plan just for you, help you streamline cash flow, and monitor your business transactions. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
Real commitment doesn't stumble. It doesn't hesitate. It's ready at a moment's notice, on the sidelines and in the stands. It leans in and gets loud. We're ready for you, for our club, for our city, for whatever comes next. We're SSM Health St. Anthony, and we're proud to be the official healthcare partners of the OKC Energy FC.
Welcome to Loves. Here, technology drives us. That's why we research technology advancements in our own labs. It's why we're constantly developing new tools to improve the ways you move. Ways that lead to safer, more efficient travel. Here at Loves, we believe that technology drives us all forward. Loves, working to bring innovation to the highway.
Welcome back to Taft Stadium with Gary Bailey. Michael Watring about to wrap things up in a 0-0 draw in this contest. And it was a game that featured 2 incredible efforts by goalkeepers. In this one, brought to you by SSM Health St. Anthony's, comes from CJ Cochran handling a ball from Jameel Roberts.
Yeah, good strong left hand from CJ This ball goes a long, long way and gets brought down by Jamil Roberts. He's at a tightish angle, but look at CJ's left hand. Gets down and he has to push it up and away. If you push it too flat, the strikers can follow in and score, and instead the goalkeeper knocks it up into the ground, up in the air, and it allows his defenders time to clear the ball safely.
And now we take a look at the full-time highlights in this match, brought to you by Panera Bread. And it was an early opportunity here that once again forced CJ Cochran into action off of Barbier's kick.
Yeah, Barbier with a quick shot, not too much power behind it, right at the goalkeeper, comfortable for CJ to make the save.
That coming in the 23rd minute, and then moments later in the 28th, perhaps the best chance of the night for OKC Energy. Chavez was stopped by McIntosh.
Yeah, I just wonder, I'm looking at Chavez thinking, can you flick it over the goalkeeper? Knocks it down into the goalkeeper's legs, and here's that lovely cross-field pass, and it's brought down by Jamil Roberts. And again, you just get to see that excellent save from CJ Cochran as he gets that left hand down and blocks the ball, knocks it high for his defender to clear.
Roberts had a solid game in his first career start for SKC2. Right before the halftime whistle, this little ricocheting ball found Daniels, who took a wonderful shot on, and look at a sprawling stop by McIntosh.
Yeah, Daniels so quick to pounce on this one. As it goes down, whack, he's hit it. McIntosh reads it and acrobatically manages to make the save. And here's Aiden Daniels again and again. And this time a little bit easier save for McIntosh, more or less at him, and he palms it away from danger. Have a look at the strike there, and there's the palming it away at a nice tight angle where it's not so dangerous.
And then off of a poor giveaway, Mushagalusa got into the box, took an odd angle shot, but Mushagalusa was dynamic all evening long and nearly gave SKC2 the lead.
Certainly did, but again, tight angle. You're not going to beat a goalkeeper like CJ Cochran from there. And then at the very end, the ball comes in, and Cochran's having to scramble back as that ball hits his post. I think he had it covered. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably did. And in the end, pretty much even. Look at that, shots on target, 4-3 possession. Well, Sporting Kansas City didn't mind conceding a lot of that and dropping deep. In the end, I don't think either side did enough to say they should have won it, and that's why I guess it's an honorable draw.
Full-time stats brought to you by First Fidelity Bank, as both sides came in riding solid efforts. But tonight, it is a draw, 0-0, OKC Energy and SKC2 draw in a very defensive-minded effort. It was a wonderful day on the pitch. Roberts took a shot that nearly gave SKC2 a lead in the first half, but CJ Cochran had the answers all night long. A couple missed chances, this one from Daniels, but great goalkeeping efforts by both sides, and a 0-0 draw. Thanks for tuning in to this broadcast. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.